Hi guys, Ashley here, also known as the fan. Back to another video. And today I thought I would switch gears from talking about teen dramas since I am starting my job. Hopefully next week I'm just waiting for my fingerprints to transfer onto their system. My goal was to originally make a video about why I think One Tree Hill Season 2 is the weakest season of the high school years. My goal is to probably do that sometime before I start working, but if I start work before the video, because there's just so much going on, if I don't make the video before my job starts, I would make it that weekend of all that. But today I thought I really would just switch gears and talk about Sims 3 series. And I know I only made one video about Sims 3 series, and that was when I talked about the couples. And I thought I would just come on here and talk about a couple of things that have stuck with me since I have watched the series. I want to talk about Jane Aubrey because I was talking about this thing with my sister, and she said she felt like, looking back at the relationship, he's way too old for her, and she said she don't like that it's not addressed more about his age, which is not true because if you watch the season, if you watch Addicted, his age and his previous drug problem and him being like a drug dealer, all of that was addressed in season 1 about how her brother knew and he didn't say anything, and then eventually her dad found out. All that was talked about in season 1 and a little bit of season 2. But I'll get into them when I make their video, but I'll just say this about Jane Aubrey. I feel like the age thing is definitely an issue. I'm not going to sit here and act like it isn't. Him being 21 and her being 16, it's going to be an issue whether whatever. I feel like dating someone who's older than you while you're in high school, that's a problem in itself. I feel like it's a way how you go at it though. You can't say it's grooming if it's something that was built off in a nice and emotional connection. I feel like Jane Aubrey, that was built from a great emotional connection. They were friends before it turned into anything romantically. I feel like the connection that they had was genuine. It's different when someone is in a grooming situation and they're in a position of power. Let's get that clear. But I will get into all that in the controversy when it comes to her and Jay. But I still feel like, I don't care what anyone says, Jane and Aubrey are still the best Sims 3 couple, and I would die on that hill. A couple from some of the couples I want to talk about are actually from Mission Bad Boy. Mission Bad Boy is my second favorite Sims 3 series after Addicted. And I absolutely love Mission Bad Boy. So much drama, so much up and down, so many, just everything. I love Mission Bad Boy. I like the first generation cast, and I love the second generation cast with their children. And there are a lot of rants that I have for the first generation cast that I'm looking back at like, wow, I got to air out some grievances. The first couple that I want to talk about from Sims 3 series that I just, like, well, not the first couple, like the first rant that I want to talk about and address, is that I don't feel like Raffe and Sasha should have been in game. I have always felt this way when I watched it, even when I was younger. I would say I started watching Sims 3 series when I was like about 13, and I just feel like I've always felt this way. I've always just felt like him and Tessa should have been in game. I feel like what him and Tessa had was just way more emotional. I think they had way more of an emotional connection. And so let's get into him and Sasha. That's getting to how this all came about. Him and Sasha, this entire relationship, what they had, the back and forth situation, was built off them having friends with benefits. Now, I am somebody who believes that nothing is ever just sex, but I've never felt the emotional connection between him and Sasha that the creator tried to display. I've never felt it between them. I've always felt like it was very surface level. I've always felt like it was nothing more but just sex between them. In season 3, when this all started, was because Reese was with Sasha, but he had feelings for Dana. Him and Sasha were dating. And Ralph and Dana were dating, but Dana had feelings for Reese and she went out with Ralph anyway, which was very stupid. Her and Ralph had no chemistry, and that was just such a waste of time. Her and Ralph were a couple all through season 2 and halfway through season 3. Just such a waste of time. He told Sasha that Reese and Dana hooked up, and then that's how him and Sasha pretty much started having their friends benefits. They pretty much just agreed that they wanted nothing serious, and that's what they both agreed to. But to me, like I said before, nothing is ever just sex. And not that they were having like emotional deep connections, but I felt like after they like, I feel like they were. It seemed like they were doing more than just having friends benefits. Like Raffe would stay over. She would ask him, "Can we go on dates?" Things like that. Some things that you shouldn't be doing with a person if it's nothing serious. There's no emotional foundation there. They were doing things like that, and then we got that stupid ass storyline with Ralph having feelings for Cena. That made absolutely no goddamn sense. I gotta remember on that too. More on that later. That made no sense. I just feel like everything to him and Sasha throughout the entire series, through seasons 3 through 5, it just felt very simple to me. Their relationship started off them having friends benefits, having no emotional foundation, them trying to turn that into emotional foundation, and it never found its legs to grow into that to me, in my personal opinion. I feel like it just never went to that surface of what the creator wanted me to believe. I never once believed it with them. They were going on dates, all things like that, even though they both agreed that there's no emotional attachment. And I will get into Rob because Rob, I love Rob, but his character really started to get on my nerves in like seasons 4 and 5. And I'm gonna tell y'all I'm like more on that later. I'm gonna tell y'all. Him and Sasha, their relationship came to an end in season 3 when when the group agreed to go on like a little beach resort. I think it was Reese who hooked it up. His dad had like a beach house, and Reese set it up. And on the beach resort, Ralph has feelings for Cena. These feelings started to develop, and I will get into their own personal video about it. But the whole situation that came with Cena was that they were hanging out a lot in season 3. She was there for him throughout his heartbreak with Dana and things like that. And he started going, I guess, feelings for her, even though it was very one-sided. So, Cena asked Sasha would her and Ralph have to go on a double date. She told her yes. When she told Ralph that she agreed to a double date, he said, "Why would you do that?" She said, "Because you guys are all friends." And she said, "I want you to introduce it to your friends." Even though they both agree this is nothing serious. That's questionable in itself. That's being confusing. Y'all both agree to nothing serious, but yet y'all want to go on dates with each other? That's crazy. Y'all want to do couple shit, but yet y'all not a couple. I don't do shit like that, in my personal opinion. I don't do that type of shit. Ralph was getting drunk and getting belligerent, and when he saw Cena and Jason kissing all over each other, he told Jason to get his hands off her and he don't deserve her. Then after that, it got really confusing. He said he was drunk and he said he don't have feelings for Cena. Not until he told Dana that he got feelings for Cena, Sasha overheard, causing Cena and Jason to break up because Jason assumed that she had feelings for him too, which I feel like she did not have. It was definitely very one-sided. I don't think Cena had any feelings for him, but I think she felt like I feel like Jason didn't want to get his heart broken, so he just decided that they both should just end it. And she decided to try to see what these feelings, quote unquote, were for Ralph. Don't worry, I'm gonna get into that because all that was just such a waste of time when we get into season 4. So, and this is season 3 is where Ralph meets Tessa on the beach. At the beach resort, that's when he meets Tessa. They bump into each other. Sasha left the beach resort when she found out about his little feelings for Cena. He asked her where she's going. She said it was fun while it lasted, but she said they both agreed to nothing serious. And so she left town. We find out in season 5 why she really left. I'm gonna get on that. More on that later. So to me, this is where the confusing love story, complicated love story started between him and Sasha. I will say that him and Sasha, they do have a love story, but to me, I just never once was convinced that they should be Endgame. And if you watch my couple ranking, I believe I put them very low on that list because to me, I just never felt like they should have been Endgame. I just felt like it wasn't there enough for me. It felt very surface level for me. And to me, I felt like when it came to them, in my personal opinion, I felt like when it came to Ralph, he was always in an emotional pit. When it came to Ralph, I felt like, I'm trying to find a way to explain this. You know what, let's just get into why his character, what is this? Hold on. sorry, someone's texting me. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'll text someone. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. Why is it any of my comments sending? I don't understand. I'm sorry, someone's texting me about Buffy, and I don't understand why none of my replies are, what are not sending? Like, I don't get it. Is this person deleting my comments? That's the only thing that makes sense. It's about Buffy and Spike. I don't like Buffy and Spike. If you're a Buffy and Spike shipper, don't come on my channel because I don't like them. I'm Team Bagel all day. They're the love story, that's the deep connection, that's just the everything. I feel like all type of Buffy was just surface level and just, that was just sexual energy. Don't worry. All that stuff will come out. I need to rewatch Buffy. I'm gonna tell you what, my feelings for her and Spike will never change, but I definitely need to rewatch Buffy because I haven't rewatched it since quarantine, and that was what, 4 years ago. So yeah, I could definitely go back and rewatch. But back to Sensory Theory. So about Raphael, I think in seasons 4 and 5, Ralph started to take the Lucas Scott route when it came to just being so confused about who he wants to be with. And me personally, I'm not gonna hate him for that, because if females can be confused and go through different partners to figure out what they want, then there should be no crime against a man doing that. I feel like Ralph went through Sasha, he went through Cena, and he went through Tessa. We all know that Cena is no question, because that should never happen. But I feel like he was in a love triangle between Sasha and Tessa, and I feel like he just did not know who he wanted. When Sasha left, he and Tessa were building in a deep emotional bond in season 4, and I loved it. Like, I feel like some of y'all forget, he helped her push into her music. He helped her get signed. He helped pay her way through college. Like, he helped her out a lot. Like, it was really a friendship, and mind y'all, I don't think they kissed until season 5 because she left to go on tour in season 4. And she fell in love with her tour manager. So Ralph did not get a chance to confess his feelings because she left. So in season 4 we did not see Sasha, but in season 5 they decided to push him and Sasha back together. And Sasha was in a whole life relationship when this happened. Even though the relationship that she was in, it really didn't have any like screen time or anything like that. But she was in a relationship. Again, they're back to the friends benefits route. And we found out that Sasha, the only reason why she left all years ago was because she got pregnant. She heard about Ralph's child and she couldn't tell him. God. Him and Tessa, Ralph and Tessa get together. They do an emotional foundation. She finds out that he is still with Sasha on the low. She ends things with Ralph. They're low. I feel like him and Tessa, they were done so dirty by the person who wrote the series. In my personal opinion, I think she was behind Ralph and Sasha so much that she ruined him and Tessa's love story. Tessa cheated on her boyfriend with Ralph and they kissed, and then Ralph hooked up and they got married drunk. And then when Tessa and Ralph tried to make that into a relationship, because everything was there. The only thing that was holding it back was that he was still in love with Sasha on the low, which is crazy to me because I never felt like it was anything emotionally deep there to me. Like, I just felt there was nothing really there. And then in the season 5, years passed, she did like another time jump. Turns out Tessa is pregnant. Tessa gets pregnant with his kid, and then that's pretty much where it ends with Tessa. But I'm just looking at my own view because I have my own personal view with Tessa. I need to talk about what's in Tessa. Him and Sasha end up being together in season 5. They confess to each other, and then they get engaged by the end of season 5, and then they have their happy endgame ending. To me, with him and Sasha, I just like everything about it just felt increasingly forced. I'm not trying to offend the writer. I'm not trying to offend anyone who ships them. It's just my personal opinion. I would never offend anyone's writing. To me, as a viewer, if I made a show and there was a couple that people did not like but I was behind, I feel like as a creator, I feel like you should not end what you write because fans don't like it. There are a lot of relationships that I don't like on TV, but if I would have had an opinion on it, if the writer thinks it's best for television, that's their opinion. I'm not the writer. I'm not the creator. I can't tell them what not to do. Me personally, I feel like a lot of people wish that Lathan would have never been a thing. I feel like a lot of people wish that Lathan, after season 4, the writers would have never went back to it. Me personally, no. Lucas and Peyton was the love story on What You Will. It makes no sense to end that in season 4 and not explain what happens after in season 5. It makes no sense. I'm not saying that I'm not telling her that she shouldn't have made this into the end. I had no problem. Okay, it's kind of funny to word this. I'm mad, but I'm not mad to an extent about him and Sasha being Endgame. The reason why I'm mad is because she was not there in season 4, and I feel like there just wasn't enough material with Ralph and Sasha, in my opinion. Like, to me, it always just felt incredibly surface level to me. It just always felt surface level. There was chemistry between them. Like, they had their little cute moments and everything like that. But to me, it just always felt incredibly surface level. They were just always fucking. Like, I feel like that's all it ever was. Like, yes, they had their conversations, but to me, I feel like all it ever was is that whenever you see them, they're just always in a sexual relationship. Like, that's all it ever was to me. I never feel like there was ever. I feel like they didn't have enough deep conversations. And this can always change. I do kind of going back watching seasons 3 to 5 because when I originally was watching it, I stopped watching it for some reason I don't know. I think life just got chaotic. I watched season 1, I already watched season 2. I might go back. I might start watching season 3 tonight, and I could change by the time I get to season 5. But to me, based off my memory and things like that, I just was never team Sasha and Ralph. I just could never be. They were just never it for me. I feel like they were just incredibly surface level, and I feel like their relationship based off friends with benefits, and she tried to turn that into a love story. which I'm not mad at. I just feel like I wish there was more material for them. She ruined Ralph and Tessa for Ralph and Sasha when she didn't need to do that. She ended the love triangle so quickly in season 5 before it even got started. Tessa broke up with her boyfriend for no reason to be with Ralph, only for him to end up being with Sasha anyway. Like, the fact that he got them both knocked up and had babies with them, it just got a little absurd. I won't say absurd because that's kind of like that. I'm insulting her word. It got a little messy in a way where it just didn't need to be, in my opinion. Ralph played Tessa, and I don't fuck with that, and I love Ralph. I just didn't fuck with that. He played Tessa when honestly, she was it for him. They were it for each other. Like, I love them. I feel like with him and Tessa, they felt more mature. I feel like they both push each other a lot more. And I kind of feel like Ralph kind of stopped his fuckboy tendencies when he got with Tessa. I feel like what he genuinely wanted was just someone to care about him back so he can care about them too. And I feel like that was it for Tessa, because with me, I feel like with them, it was not just sexual energy. Yes, they were attracted to each other, but I think there was a lot more deep emotional connection there between him and Tessa compared to him and Sasha. I feel like all it was between him and Sasha was just sex. I feel like even though they had their conversations, I feel like it was never anything deep. It was a little too surface. So that's just how I feel. I don't think Raffe and Sasha should be in game, and that's where I stand. Comment, like, subscribe, and tune in for more Simply Series Rant. Ciao.